Support for another round comes from Bevel, the first and only complete shaving system designed for men with coarse, curly hair and sensitive skin. Clinically proven to reduce and prevent razor bumps. Because, let's face it, your face deserves better. Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And welcome to another round with Heben and Tracy. All right. What do we have for the people today, Tracy?
Well, for the people, we have a delicious audio menu.
Okay, what's on the menu?
We're going to have What Had Happened Was. I'm going to finally share the story of Cornbread, my racist goldfish. May he rest in peace.
Jesus.
I don't want to spoil it, but he was not actually a goldfish.
Okay.
But he was actually racist. I mean, I'm hoping that he changed. Anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into all of that. And then for the main course, if you will, we have an interview. An interview with the one and only Audie Cornish of NPR. And I got to say, I'm a little bit terrified.
A lot bit. Because she's incredible. She's interviewed like 1 million people.
Right. Like super important people.
We're looking forward to that, but are terrified.
Yes.
Let's start the show.
Whoop whoop. I'm going to tell a story.
We haven't done What Had Happened Was in a while.
All right, let's do some What Had Happened Was. So this is the story of Cornbread, my racist goldfish. I can still get a little choked up sometimes when I talk about cornbread.
Okay, talk to me about cornbread.
Okay, so cornbread was a betta, known also as a Siamese fighting fish, right? Mm-hmm. My mother and I used to keep them all the time. Like we would get one betta, it would live its little betta life, it would die. We would get another betta. All of them were special. I don't want to sound like we were just like just replacing pets just to have them. We loved each and every one of these fish.
Okay.
So I'm in college and I wanted a pet.
Mm-hmm.
We go to a store. I see this beautiful betta. And if you're not familiar with bettas, they're very, very pretty. They come in like all these neat little iridescent jewel tones. And they've got like these really long fins that kind of look like an evening gown, like kind of wafting in the water. It's very pretty.
You guys can't see it, but Tracy's pretending to be a fish right now with her fins.
I didn't even realize it. But the males are very aggressive. They're aggressive to the point that right. To the point that you can't have two males in the same bowl. And if you put a mirror up to the bowl of a male, he will puff up and try to attack his own reflection. So they pester us seriously.
That's dumb.
Of course, I did it all the time when I was little because it's a cool trick to show your friends, but you really shouldn't do that. It stresses it out. Probably kills them in the end, maybe, if you do it too much.
From stress?
Yes. Or like just them like ramming into the... They're very aggressive fish. They try to kill things all the time. So I settled on this fish and I was just like, this guy, his name is Cornbread. Don't know why. Okay. I just knew that his name was Cornbread. Okay. So I take Cornbread back to my dorm room. I was living at the time, can't remember what year this was, but my roommate was definitely black. And all like 4 of my friends on campus were also black. So like they would come over, you know, I mean, I had white friends too. I don't want to sound like I just didn't have any white friends. But whenever my white friends were over and they were like, you know, looking in the bowl and blah, 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 he was cool. He was chilling. He was pretty docile, whatever. But when I got next to the bowl or when any other black person got next to the bowl, he would flip out. He would puff up his gills and he like starts like going at the side of the bowl. And like when I would feed him once, I put some of his food in the bowl. And like I let my finger linger. I let my finger like kind of like hover above the water to see if he would ignore the food that he needs to eat to try and kill my finger. He went straight for my finger. Straight for the finger. And I'm like, dude, do you not understand that you need me? I feed you. I change your water. I love you. Like I talk to you all the time. And he just treated me like shit. On
so
the
did
bottom
you do some like control testing with like black friends, white friends?
You know, I didn't do any official control testing, but I made mental notes all the time. You know, I mean, it was a very strained relationship, but you know, I dreamed of the day that he would come around, you know, like, listen, man, this isn't the 1950s anymore. You don't have to do this, Cornbread. This is 2000, like, I don't know, 3, probably 2002, 2003. It's a new day. It's a new era. I need you to come around to the right side of history. You don't have to do this anymore. And so like I think there's a picture of this somewhere, but I would write little like inspirational quotes on index cards and like put it next to this bowl like before I left to go to class.
Baby Tracy.
I really wanted him to love me. I just wanted him to love me. I think once there was a Martin Luther King quote, but the quote that sticks out to me the most, there's a song by Gil Scott-Heron called The Klan, which is a really, really good song. There's a line in it that says, "He who rides with the Klan is a devil and not a man." So I wrote that on a little index card and I put it next to him. I thought it would help.
That's so intense.
I mean, it took a lot. Martin Luther King didn't help. I was like, okay, we got to pull out the big guns now, I guess. We're just going to get right to it.
It's always lonely when it's time to dance. He who rides with the Klan is a devil and not a man.
So I never gave up on loving cornbread or trying to get cornbread to not be awful to me. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure he hated me up until the day that he died. And here's how he died. It was like a long weekend or something. And my mom came to campus to get me. And it was chilly outside. And I had cornbread's bowl sitting on a windowsill and the window was cracked. Now, I maintain that my mother forgot to either close the window or move the bowl. She says it was me. I would never treat cornbread that way. So obviously my mom killed my fish. I know you're listening. And I know you're going to have something to say about this, Mom. But we all know the truth. So I get back to campus. Cornbread's dead, belly up, frozen to death. I was very upset. I was very, very upset. And I was like, man, I feel like he was just starting to come around. I thought he was going to change his life. But, you know, he just mowed down in his prime and it was so sad. So I demanded that we have an official funeral for cornbread.
Oh, my God.
You
must have been the most annoying child.
I was particularly awful in college. I really was. So we took the bowl to the girls' bathroom. We were in the stall, me and my mom. Gosh. And I was not going to let her leave campus until we did this. I sang "Soon We'll Be Done with the Troubles of the World" by Mahalia Jackson, which I believe was sang at Martin Luther King's funeral.
Wow,
I wanted to find something very meaningful.
You were like, let me recreate Martin Luther King's funeral for cornbread, my goldfish.
I just wanted the last, like, the last symphony of voices that he heard to be singing something meaningful to usher him hopefully into little fishy heaven. Like, I mean, if heaven has a pet store. I know that cornbread is up there right next to some blackfish probably, and he's okay. I think he's all right.
That was incredible.
I'm gonna need a moment.
Do you want to hear the really quick story of the one time we had a goldfish?
Yes, please.
So, you know when you're in elementary school and they give you prizes for dumb shit?
Yes.
But you're like so hyped because you're like, oh my God, I got a prize. My sister, like the top prize for something, I don't even remember, she got a goldfish. She brought it home and it came with one thing of fish food. Fish flakes. We're like, oh my God, we have a pet. They never let us have a pet. You know, it's a goldfish. But we're so hyped. We're so hyped. And like we put it in this like place in our apartment, and like every morning we'd be like, "Oh, do you want to feed it? I want to feed it." You know, we're so hyped. And then one day, like we were starting to get low on goldfish food.
Oh no!
And we're like, "Hey, Dad, we need more goldfish food." And we like let him know for like a week, right? We're like, "Hey, we're really running out." The final day. So then we get home. And in the bowl is just like little chunks of bread. Oh. We're like, did you feed our goldfish chunks of bread?
Your dad
and then,
the goldfish bread?
Of course, the goldfish was dead. I was so upset. We're like, you had one job. It was so upsetting.
Oh no.
He gave him motherfucking bread. That's also like the most Ethiopian shit ever. He's like, yeah, just give him some bread.
Oh my God, my stomach hurts so bad.
So that's the quick story of my one-time goldfish. It had a name, I'm sure.
You don't even remember the name.
It was a while ago.
Would you like to name it posthumously?
No.
All right. Okay.
Shout out to my dead goldfish.
Rest in peace, dead goldfish. Rest in peace, cornbread. Y'all got a twofer for the What It Happened Was today.
A twofer.
A twofer.
It's another one of those words. What a doozy. Let's take a break. Support for another round comes from Bevel, the first and only shaving system designed to reduce razor bumps and help you achieve smoother, clearer skin. Talking Shop, where Guy sits down with his barber and asks the questions they never get around to in the chair.
Hey, I'm Zach McKnight, a creative in advertising at BuzzFeed, and I'm sitting here with my barber, Louis Madrid. Hey, Louis.
Hey, Zach.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Do you remember the first time you used a straight razor?
Yeah, it was in barber school on a balloon. When you first get into barber school, they actually have you practice on a balloon. It's pretty funny. They draw a face on it, and they put the shaving cream on the balloon, and you practice shaving.
How many balloons have you killed?
I've never popped one.
There it is. You don't want to Sweeney Todd any balloons.
Yeah.
I've always looked at shaving as a romantic ritual, like for myself. Is there any sort of music or anything you do to set the mood when you shave at home?
Absolutely. When I'm grooming myself, I'm always playing music at home, or I'm always in the bathroom. I have a little radio. I pop that on. I have a little mirror on the side that I can see behind my neck to shape myself up.
You light some candles. You run a bath.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Louis, thanks again for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Another Round listeners can head to getbevel.com and use the offer code ANOTHERROUND to get 20% off your first month. Once again, the offer code is ANOTHERROUND at getbevel.com. GETBEVEL.com.
Your skin finna be silky smooth.
They should get you to
With
sing a song.
Bevel.
That's beautiful. So we are unbelievably excited, thrilled, nervous.
Very nervous.
to have
nervous.
Audie Cornish, host of NPR's All Things Considered, on the show today.
Hello.
She's covered everything from elections, natural disasters, interviewed world leaders, artists, just everyone. So we are thrilled to be doing an interview with someone who's interviewed millions of people.
And we're also very nervous to do an interview with somebody who literally does this perfectly for a living and has for a reason.
I felt the same way about you two, though.
Oh my gosh, that's
Because
ridiculous.
your interview style is so fun and casual, and I was like, I've been listening to it actually for myself, just because I'm always listening to interviewers trying to figure out how they do what they do and dissect it. And you two are very good. So
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
nervous.
Oh my gosh. So it makes me feel better that we're all nervous.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. I was told there would be drinks. I don't know what's going
had you
on.
been in this studio,
Listen,
absolutely.
I was like,
We
is
would've
she going to be
plied you
drinking
with
on the
liquor.
other end?
Next time.
Next time.
We're
Absolutely.
recording in New York, and Audie is in NPR headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Where there are no drinks to be found, let me tell you.
But
Even
next
on the
time
days
you're in the
when you
studio.
need it.
So we are thrilled that you are here. Welcome and thank you. And we're going to start off with our typical question. What do you do and why?
I consider myself a reporter, even though I've been a host of a show for the last couple of years. And I've almost always been in public radio. And I guess I do it because I love the sound of people's voices, for real, all the time. And I think even when I was a print reporter, I would come back from a story and think, oh, that person, they just had a lovely accent or way of speaking, and I really wish I could hear it. And I still feel pretty strongly about that.
I love that.
That was a great answer. So speaking of voices, we asked Twitter if anybody had any questions for you. And I think one of the first questions that we got is, how did you get such a great voice? Now, I do this unconscious thing where when I'm talking to somebody who speaks very proper and and legibly, I guess.
Enunciate.
Right. Like I can feel like I try to like dampen my own accent and like try to like put on my professional voice, which I think I'm doing now. I'm trying not to. It's easier for me not to when I have liquor. Don't have liquor now. I do apologize. But I mean, I don't know how this works. Like, are there classes that you take to get like the non-regional diction thing down? Have you ever had an accent?
Yeah, that's a good question. And people have been asking it a lot. I know you guys had Gene Denby on from NPR's Code Switch team to talk about the hashtag pub radio voices and what people were saying about kind of the unbearable whiteness of public radio, which I think I really understand where people are coming from with that. For me, I will say that my family, they're all Jamaican, but I grew up in Massachusetts and I just ended up with no accent. And that sucks, right? Because for both of those communities, accents are a big deal. Jamaicans really love their accents, as they should, because they're beautiful, whether it's patois or the broadcasters. I mean, it's really gorgeous Caribbean accents. And in Massachusetts, badge of honor, like being able to, it's like part of being, from that place. And I didn't have it. So it's very interesting to basically spend my entire childhood as an outsider because of my voice. Finally get this job where I'm like paid to have this voice and then have all these people be like, but that's not good enough. Like, is that your authentic self? And it's like, what do you want from me? I don't know. So I don't know if that answers that question. There's no classes. There's no nothing. This is just my voice. And, I like it. I'm
As
fine
well
with
you
it.
should.
The way people feel about what it means to be Black, what it means to be professional, like all of these stereotypes. Like, I feel bad for people because I want to say, you don't know, but this is telling me more about you than it is about me. Like, your ideas about who I am and what I sound like and what I should sound like. I didn't mean to go off on a tear there, but I haven't really talked about that publicly. And I think that I've been meaning to say that somewhere.
Please go off on any tears that
Yes.
you would like to.
Go off.
We will literally follow you anywhere. So we've heard many tall tales about how people, when they meet you, they're always surprised that you're Black and they expect you to be white.
Yes, Black and white, people of all races, all ages.
Who seems the most surprised? Or is everybody just always freaking out whenever you show up?
First of all, in public radio, there's a certain amount of disappointment you have to bear regardless when people meet you. Because they meet you and you can just see the light dim in their eyes. And they're like, you're not what I thought. And first, you're thinking, like, first of all, what were you thinking? Like, it's the news. But second of all, what exactly did you imagine? So you're not what they imagined. And so that's okay. I think Black people are more like happy to explain their surprise. I think for white people, there's like a certain amount of like a politeness about, well, I don't want to say what I thought a Black person should look or sound like. That could get awkward quickly.
Right.
So that doesn't happen. But yeah, Black people are definitely happy to be like, what? Like, I didn't know
She
that.
one of us.
Or
She
else
one
I'd
of
be
us.
listening.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? You can still listen, but I appreciate it. And I don't mind that because, again, I think one of the things I've loved about the rise of like the Black nerd, where it's like, it's our time, is that there's not all that, like, we don't have to deal with all this policing of Blackness, It's like, you can be yourself and that's okay. And I feel like collectively, we're not so fearful of who we are. Wherever you are on the, I don't know what this would be, the Dolezal spectrum of Blackness. Like, I don't know how it's measured these days.
Yes. It was beautiful. So you've done maybe 1 million interviews, I'm approximating.
Give or take 2.
Give or take. I was listening to an interview where you were saying, like, still every like 10 minutes before an interview, you get nervous, and 10 minutes after, you're like, I failed. Does that ever go away?
Please say yes. Please say yes.
No, it
happened
doesn't.
today.
And you should hope it does not, right? Because meeting people is scary. That's why we get into an elevator and we like move to corners, right? Because I feel like we're naturally inclined to be like, not today, my friend.
Yeah, I aggressively press door close.
Right, because you're like, when is this done? When is this done? And naturally, I'm nervous, and I was not popular in high school. Do you know what I mean? I just was not a person who was naturally inclined to have conversation with strangers. It's being a reporter that's turned me into that. And it does feel sometimes like there's a Clark Kent effect where things I would not do in my regular life, I will do because I'm reporting and interviewing someone. So it doesn't go away. I hope it doesn't go away, because the day that I'm like bored, uninterested, and not worried about talking to someone, well, then I'm not curious anymore. And what's the point of that? And I don't know about you, but part of this job is just figuring out how to channel that energy, you know? I think Bobby McFerrin said something like, it doesn't matter if you have butterflies if they're all going in the same direction.
Wow. You're also the first
Don't
person
quote me on that.
to
It
quote
seems like
Bobby
something he would
McFerrin.
say, wouldn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I'm for real. I love Bobby McFerrin. Shout out to Bobby
Well,
McFerrin.
yeah, he's amazing, and he does these. Like, he is an amazing teacher. Anyway, so I have taken that to heart very much. I feel like, yes, butterflies. Let's get in line. let's do this.
I guess in a field where there aren't that many people that look like you, were you able to find mentors?
Well, first of all, that is a good question that you should also ask, like, just about any Black professional that you meet. I think. I mean, that is the
Applies
reality.
everywhere. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's the reality of being a person of color and kind of upward mobility and where we are as a community, that there are lots of firsts, right? And there's lots of seconds and thirds, and people who had to create mentors maybe where it didn't seem like there naturally would be. I will say that I am very aggressive and believe very deeply in mentorship. So when I was an intern, there were a couple of people that I came to at NPR and went to their office and just, was like, knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's me. I want to learn what you do. Let's talk about that. And like, if you do that to 5 people, 1 or 2 of them will help you, either because they have like egos or because they actually want to help you, And I think that's something that's really hard to kind of make that conceptual leap if you are if you didn't grow up in that world, which I did not, to be like, yeah, someone should answer my questions. Yes, somebody should help me because I am here,
Right.
And that's something that like entitled young people take for granted,
Hello.
like they
Absolutely.
assume this is why I'm here so that people can help me get to the next level. And I feel like when you're a working class kid, you don't feel that way. You're like, I just don't want to mess up.
Right.
I definitely found people who mentored me. And one thing about NPR in particular, there's so many outstanding women here, Michelle Martin and Michelle Norris and, Nina Totenberg. Like, this woman
Yes.
is kick ass. Like, off air, she's the kind of person who pulls you aside and says, listen, you need to do this, this, and that. Like, don't let them push you around. I mean, she's just great. And Cokie Roberts and, definitely men, Steve Inskeep. Like, there are people who were happy to talk to me about craft. And I've always been really grateful. But I'm going to take credit for myself saying that,
Yes.
like, I
Absolutely.
wasn't afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, like, it's really hard to get over.
I just love hearing women do that. That just made me so happy. So I have a question about the planning of your show and the people that you tend to profile. We noticed that there were some interviews that you did with Black artists like Kara
did you?
Walker. And we've noticed, a little bird came in and was
I
like,
thought I
hey.
had snuck those in.
No, we saw those in Kehinde Wiley. So how involved are you with like the actual planning of your show? How many of the guests that you entertain and interview are people that you specifically wanted to talk to? Like, I'm always interested to see like how things work on other shows.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was reading about your meeting and you guys talking about like how you put it together, and I felt the same way. For us, we have the news, right? So sometimes you just get there and you're like, Iran deal. Discuss, like,
Right.
let's try and find 5 angles on this 50 people haven't done already. I think some of the interviews you guys are pointing to, particularly with artists, they are things that I chose myself, maybe because I knew about those people already, maybe because I've read about them, maybe because they're just due. In the case of, say, Kehinde Wiley and Kara Walker, these are 2 well-known, well-regarded artists who are like, pretty close to retrospective mode. You know what I mean? Like, they're already at the point where people are like, let's look back on the greatness. Like the fact that they hadn't been interviewed before by us was weird and an oversight. One fun thing about this job, you asked me earlier of like kind of when I felt I came into my own, it was like making selections like that, like my ability to get something like that to air, to get through the whole interview without saying an African-American artist, you know what I mean? Like I can do a whole interview with a Black person without saying they're Black, you know, because does it matter? Like when it matters, we'll talk about it. But when it doesn't matter, why do you expect me to say it? In a way, you kind of seize your humanity, right? By saying like, we're not other.
Right.
We're here.
Right.
Like, we're in the midst of this world like anyone else, and we're going to be talked about like anyone else. Those interviews in particular, that's kind of what's in my head when I'm doing it.
I was going through some of your tweets, and you were...
Oh, no, I'm the worst. Oh, no.
Well,
I'm
you don't
the
tweet that much,
laziest
so-
Twitter person. Yeah, exactly.
But you were talking a little bit about your frustration with hate mail from listeners whenever you have rap or R&B on your show.
That's an NPR thing. I mean, I don't know if you heard recently, people were getting all fired up that Kim Kardashian on the show was on the show. She was on, actually, I'm sorry, Kim Kardashian was on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Like, which is a very fun show.
Yeah, it's a fun show with silly people, right? Like in the listing of people, Kim Kardashian's not that much of a stretch. She's probably the hottest, but you know, it's radio. The bar's low. But I think that for a long time, for the people who grew up with public radio, and by that I mean the people who traditionally, when people make jokes about public radio, right, the kind of delicious dish joke version of like Volvo driving, quiet speaking people in sweaters, you know, with straight edges. I think there is a group of people who feel like, hey, this thing is for us, and we're here because we fled pop culture. You know, like we're here because we're kind of overwhelmed and we want a break. And I think in some ways that's fair, you know, like, is there no place where we're not safe from a Kardashian? I mean, if we're being honest, like, there
is a legitimate question,
right? That's a legitimate question, journalistic question we should ask. But should you flip out because they show up? Probably not. You know, it's just not that deep. And I think this is the same group of people who struggle with hip hop as an art form. And I think, again, this gets back to my kind of greater inner sort of thesis about what I do, which is that I'm not going to pretend hip hop isn't other music and that it is like fringe or cutting edge. Like, this music's been around for a long time. We're getting pretty clear, like near oldies level now,
like
right?
generations.
You know? Yeah, I remember once being at some kind of event where people were like, it's throwback time, 90s. And I was like, but this song just came out in my mind, you know? Like,
It's like 2 years ago.
I was not feeling ready to be like adult contemporary, basically. This is the music of my youth. So again, like, we bring those artists on, and I still do err on the side of trying to bring an artist who has something to say, who has something interesting to say, who tell their story well. You know, that's a bias I have. You know, as much as I might like a certain kind of hip hop song, which is like the same couple of words said 1,000 times, that's not a good conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so Versace, you know, like, what else do you do after that?
You haven't interviewed Migos yet?
Yeah, so it's not like people don't, you know, everyone has a story, but I'm looking for people who have a good and interesting story to tell, often in 5 minutes or less. It's awful to say, but it's the truth.
This is a fantastic interview. We have 1,000 questions that we did not get to, but we do want to steer towards our fun rapid fire question portion of the show.
Rapid fire. I am public radio. I don't really know I can handle
it. We say rapid fire, but it's really just an excuse to get us to ask you weird questions about various things.
They're not very fast at all.
So, people get very upset with us when we don't ask this of each and every one of our guests. So we are going to ask you, what are your thoughts on squirrels?
Oh, I forgot about this. Thoughts in general? Okay, my dad used to say like squirrel, like he had a weird way of pronouncing it.
Can you do that once more?
It was squirrel. I don't know. I'm not sure. He did something with the U and the I, and now whenever I see it, it's like a script traffic cone. You know, like I see it on the paper, and in my mind, I'm like squirrel, 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 squirrel. Okay, got through it. Squirrel. So I'm glad it's not a word I have to say very often.
Until now, apparently.
Until now.
But I mean, like, do you trust squirrels? Do you like them? Do you dislike?
How do you feel about
Is there like
them
a squirrel
personally?
uprising I should know about?
Well,
Is this like
apparently
Planet of the
there's been-
Apes? Like,
There has been an epidemic lately of drunk squirrels just like fucking everything up. The
is
latest.
that not a New York thing? I feel like everything's a little bit janky there. Like even the squirrels would be like, a bit much.
I'm of the opinion that squirrels are terrible wherever you are. Anyway, we're spending too much time on squirrels.
Is there such thing?
As I was
Absolutely.
as I was reading through your tweets, I saw a lot of Empire tweets.
Yes.
So I have a question. Do you actually like the music on Empire? How do you feel about the music?
I love it. I think it's a kind of performance art. And Timberland is actually my obsession. This is my next interview I really want to get if you're listening. Because I have, bear with me, I know it's a lightning round, but very quickly, I feel like Empire and the show Nashville are mirror images of each other. And the music of Nashville, they like went to writers and tried to make it very authentic, blah, blah, blah. And Empire does the same thing. You know, music that is sort of bad is authentically bad. Music that is supposed to like hearken to a certain era does that. And yeah, I'll admit, the first time I heard Drip Drop, I was like, for real though? For real though. You know, like I wanted to turn off my TV and back away from it.
It's such a bad
You
song.
can't get it out of your head.
I can't get it out of my head.
She make that thing go. Drip, drop, drip, drippity drop, drip, drop. I do my dance like drip, drop, drip, drippity drop, drip, drop, drip, drippity drop.
I find myself being like, yeah, you know, like Drip Drop, like trying to explain it to my husband. And he's like, let's never speak of this again. And then when I hear Estelle, Conqueror, which is a real song, and is like done well, I think it's great, So I think that I don't ironically love the music on Empire. I legitimately love it, whether it's good or not. Does that work?
That's a great answer. What a beautiful thesis.
I sort of lump Empire and Scandal together, kind of, sort of.
Yes, operatic. They're operas.
Yes.
Not soap operas, proper operas in my mind.
You still watch the show, correct?
I'm a diehard Scandal. I mean, no matter how bad it gets, now that it gets bad, oh my God, Shonda Rhimes, I hope you can't hear me. I love you. I will still watch the hell out of that show.
So you are the perfect person to ask this question to. What would have to happen on Scandal for you to stop watching it?
Both me and Tracy stopped watching this season.
This last season,
I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, y'all. I love you,
throw in the
Shonda.
towel.
I totally get it. I have a deep commitment to Shonda Rhimes that she doesn't know about. It's not a two-way thing, but I'm deeply committed to her. I have been tested with the exit of Jake. Spoiler, I don't know if he's really exited or not.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Scott Foley,
Woo!
and I thought he brought some good heat and indecision to the show.
Heat, yes.
Heat, yeah. So I don't know, maybe we're there yet. But to me, as long as Kerry Washington is delivering those Shonda speeches, like,
Yes.
I'll go with it.
Yes.
I'll go with it. I mean, I came back around to Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah. I'm still watching Grey's.
That's another one that
It
I gave
has
up
its
on
moments.
early.
It does.
I couldn't.
It has its moments. It's
Grey's
like
is
ER.
low-key
People
slept on.
forget ER was bad for a while and then came back around and everyone was like, oh yeah, ER, great. No. It had some rough times. And I feel like, Shonda shows sometimes like she has to launch other things, and sometimes in her absence, there can be some dark moments.
Yes.
So what if in the next episode of Scandal, right, Olivia gets kidnapped by like some
Jesus.
some radioactive
Squirrels?
dolphins or squirrels with like lasers attached to like their heads, and they're like, oh, now we're gonna sell you to the Russians, and the Russians are like,
Okay,
yeah,
oh my God,
then we're
Tracy.
gonna like, I mean, so once the radioactive
that
dolphins
practically
get there,
was the last season, so this is not such a stretch. This is not a stretch at all.
True.
Had there been dolphins in like episodes 2 or 3, we'd be there right now. Yeah, I'm in the squad. I watch Private Practice unironically.
Yes. Oh my God.
To the very
same.
end.
Yes.
Very end.
Oh my God, you're the only person I can share that with.
Because for me, there's so much great, amazing television, but I like seeing myself reflected in the story sometimes. It's not a requirement for me to enjoy TV, but it's kind of nice.
Yes.
Like this is what it looks like when you have to power through a meeting
Yeah.
and tell people what's up. And you're not a bitch, you know what I mean? You're not
Right.
like an angry Negro woman. You were just another amazing character in the tableau of amazing characters. And she's going to give me that. And so I'm always going to reward her with my little Nielsen rating if I can.
Yes.
Aw,
Praise
that was
Shonda. Praise Shonda.
beautiful. That was beautiful.
So
So 2 more questions I
yes.
think we'll do.
So Gene Demby tells us that you are a very stylish style icon.
Very
For
snazzy
radio.
dresser.
Just whatever anyone tells you, just put for radio.
But
at
it's
the
like
end of
you're
it.
on radio. Why do you still get so fly?
Yeah, I believe
Oh, yeah.
his exact phrasing during a G-Chat conversation is why the fuck you get so fly to go on the radio in caps
All
locks.
caps. Emphasis jeans.
And we've seen pictures, and you are
I
always
love him.
fresh to death, I have to say. Always just like tailored.
Well,
and just,
I did go full winged liner for you too.
Ooh, yes. I can't see it, but I can feel it.
You guys do the lovely dark lip, and I want to get there. I haven't graduated to that
Oh, we can help you, girl.
point. Another round makeup edition.
I'm with it.
I do it because I am nervous, and I feel like your costume is your armor. I know that there are some women who they're not big on makeup or wearing heels or things like that, and they have very good and amazing and many times feminist-rooted reasons for believing that. For me, I take all that stuff and I arm myself with it. It might as well be a shield. And there are some days where I want people to be intimidated. So I'm like, yes, this is red lipstick.
Yes,
Like, it is lined. It is pristine. Tell
Yes.
Taylor, I did it. You're
Snatched
going to do
it
this now.
together.
And same thing with dressing. There's times when if I meet a band, I don't want to be dressed like I'm going to meet a congressman. And when I go out in the field for especially disaster reporting and reporting, like I went to Charleston after this shooting, I dress very, very plainly. I don't even wear my eyeglasses, of which I have like 10 pairs, because I don't want to be judged in that moment. And when you meet people and talk to people, they judge you. They can't help it. They look at you, take you in and go, oh, you're this person. And so then I wear a kind of plain costume so that I can deflect some of that. So for the radio, it just makes me feel good. And it gets me in a place, where I can do the performance part of it. And in real life, it's about meeting people where they are.
Whew, that was beautiful. That was a work of art.
Tell Gene with
Cross-stitch
his
that.
all caps. I have thoughts. This is not random.
Last question. What is the wildest workplace microaggression you've experienced in your
my God.
entire career?
Right.
In my entire career.
At any job.
It's fun. I know, but microaggressions, it's a very millennial thing. Like, I feel like this was just called life before, just like Negro life. And like you guys like identified it, you named it and shamed it, Tumblred it, and now it's like a thing. And so
Named
like
it and shamed it and tumbled
I
it.
gotta
love
figure
it.
out now, where was that a microaggression or was that Tuesday? I'm not entirely
I mean, it's both. It's
sure.
definitely both.
It's Microaggression Tuesday.
I'm going to be obnoxious and say I can't remember.
Okay.
That's okay. That's
I
allowed.
would say that I would not have gotten to this point in my career if I took those on board and held on to them. It's just impossible. I ran a gauntlet of people who underestimated me, right? Every story subject is like, are you the intern? Every lawmaker is like, I don't understand who you are. People don't see me. And so when they finally meet me, they're not sure what to think. There's been lots of stuff like that. And I think the only way you can get through this job or any other job where people will underestimate you on arrival is to just not onboard it, if that makes sense, right? Like I can't collect it. And so maybe it means I've been successful because I can't remember any.
Yes! Oh my God!
Is that
that
good?
was
Somebody
incredible.
passed around a collection plate.
My whole
$100.
life has changed.
Heben was silently waving her hand in the air.
But keep doing it, millennials. Keep Tumblring it and everything. Because
Yes.
for my age group, I'd be in that like poli-sci 101 class, like telling some other student, like this happened and that happened and you don't see it. And they'd just be like, I don't know. I don't see race. And like, we had to just keep that to ourselves and go
Right.
back to the like Negro dorm. And like, you guys get to be like, well, that's stupid and you're dumb. Like, you get to like have these conversations out and people write think pieces and everyone's like, call Ta-Nehisi, it becomes a thing. It becomes a thing. And I admire the discussion that can happen in its place.
Oh God, Ta-Nehisi, yes.
Heben, you don't know how good you have it.
Oh man,
It's like a bat signal. It's like, put it up there. Where is that, brother? No, I love that book. I love that book.
Oh my
thank you so much for
gosh.
gracing us with your presence.
Yes, please. You are
guys
welcome.
are so much fun. You're doing so well. You're doing so well. And I just want to say to all the people listening who are like into podcasting that I'm glad, like all of your challenging questions, all of your why is it this way? Why is it that way? Like bring it on. We want more and more people listening. And it's just been a pleasure hearing folks like yourself, like people like you, especially you, Tracy, because I know you were like, I don't know about this, like this world. You were very dubious. So to
still a
hear
little
you
skeptical,
embrace
but I'm getting
it
into
is
it.
like, it's been fantastic. So thank you for having me.
I will cry. I will
yeah.
cry into the
About to cry in
microphone
the
right now.
We have one last request.
Yes.
Yay.
Can you say, "This is another round," and I'm Audie Cornish
In your radio voice.
in your radio voice,
In my radio.
in your voice?
Here we go. For another round, I'm Audie Cornish.
That was incredible.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
And now for some inspirational words from Kanye West.
This is what we do to hold people back. This is what we do. And we got this other thing that's also been working for a long time where you don't have. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything. And I'm Kanye West at age 36. So just watch the next 10 years.
So hurry up with my damn massage in a French ass restaurant. Hurry up with my damn croissants. I am a god. I am a god.
Heben,
What's up?
who are you buying around for this week?
I want to buy around for disposable cameras. So I was moving and I found 3 old disposable cameras. And I was like, oh my God, what is on here? And I remembered like 3 summers ago, I was living with my best friend and we gave each other cameras and we just like we had phones then, but we're just like, let's just play with this, you know? And I was like, oh my God, what if it's from that summer? I was so hyped. And then I was like, okay, let me try to find a CVS that's still does this. And it was a journey. They had to they don't even do it in the store anymore. They export it out.
Wow.
So she was like, you want to develop photos? I was like, yes, ma'am. And then I developed them and they were so good.
Oh,
they were so good.
This.
It was from that summer. It was just a bunch of silly, very unposed for snapshots of what we did that summer.
Oh.
And I know it's dumb because it's I could develop the photos on my camera roll. They had this thing in the CVS where you could connect your phone and just print some photos. I was like, okay, y'all trying to keep up, you know? But there's just something so nice about the not knowing what the picture looks like.
Right.
That produces a really intimate photo. Aww. And one of the photos in there was a summer fling I had that I forgot about. And we were at a party and I met this random person. We were talking for a while. And I was just like, yeah, I'm feeling fun. Let me take some pictures of you. Who are you? And it was just so weird because I had kind of forgot what he looked like. Mm-hmm. And then I found this disposable camera and I had 2 pictures of him now. Whereas I would never have had those pictures if it wasn't for this. Because he was visiting from the UK. Mm-hmm. He was in New York for 3 days. Mm-hmm. It's this very rom-com serendipitous thing. The reason he came was because his grandma died and she gave him a bunch of money and was like, go visit this one place in Little Italy. And we had a little fling.
Ooh.
I took some pictures of him. And he was like, do you want to come with me to the place my grandma wants me to go? I was like, no. Absolutely not. But it's just so nice to have a memorialization of that one
you
brief
didn't
thing.
Go, that would have been so special.
I was like, that sounds like a private thing. I don't know if you want me there. We just met. Anyways, take pictures of your summer flings with disposable cameras. Who are you buying around for this week, Tracy?
I am buying a very non-alcoholic round for somebody who is not yet old enough to drink. Miss Amandla Stenberg, who has been just flexing on everybody via Twitter, via YouTube.
Who is she, Tracy? What if people don't know who she is?
Well, Amandla Stenberg is an American actress known for her role as Rue in The Hunger Games.
Yes.
And she is 16, 17?
Yeah.
She literally just went to prom with Jaden Smith.
Oh my God, those pictures were
incredible. Pictures were amazing.
Yeah.
But she's very vocal and outspoken and just so woke for a celebrity, one, and for somebody her age for two. So she's made a video talking about and explaining in a very patient and informative way, in a manner that only the youth have the energy to do, because I definitely can't. Talking about cultural appropriation and how it's really fucked up that when white girls discover cornrows, for example, then it's a thing, but black women who wear cornrows are often vilified. So there was a video and she's just been very vocal and outspoken. A while ago, there was this whole quote unquote feud thing between her and Kylie Jenner, because Kylie tweeted.
I mean, feud is.
Well, nobody could see my air quotes. Right. There were air quotes. Not an actual feud. Kylie Jenner posted.
More of a clapback.
It was definitely a clapback.
Let's feud more one way. What?
Right. Well, Kylie Jenner posted a picture of herself on Instagram with cornrows, right? And Amanda just very calmly rolled through, and she was just like, you know what, it's cultural appropriation. It would be really cool if you gave back to the community that you're taking from, blah 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 blah. Everybody on the internet was all the black women on the internet and the woke white folks were yes, sell it, because it's so refreshing to see somebody so young.
Yeah.
And brown and female not only use her voice the way that she does, but to use it for some actual good shit. Right. It's amazing to watch.
She was don't call me an angry black woman. I'm just saying my opinion.
She was I have strong opinions. I'm not angry. Yes. And I also really love the way that black women on the internet rallied around her when freaking Andy Cohen from Bravo.
Oh God, this fucker.
He thought it would be cute to call her a jackhole because of the comments that she made, completely not acknowledging that the comments that she made were pretty freaking valid.
He called her a jackhole?
A jackhole. So he has this. Listen, he has this.
Is that
segment.
a regular segment of his?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he ever put himself there?
He should.
He tried to actually touch Nicki Minaj's butt.
Right, on air in front of everybody, in front of cameras.
He has no clue. He's
so this is the
mad
kind of
unprofessional.
person that he is. Yes. He went at her for what she did, and like the internet really rallied around her. They had a hashtag that was like boycott Bravo or whatever. And first, Andy was like, I wasn't calling her a jackhole. I just don't like online feuds, quote unquote. And then later, he definitely did apologize.
That's that clapback
That's
for
that
you.
clapback for you. Protect Amanda Stenberg at all costs.
Yes.
Protect this baby. So
I mean, it's hard for her not to like be woke because like from the very beginning when she stepped on the stage, people were upset because she was like a brown character.
Right.
And they were like, we didn't know Rue was brown.
right. I never imagined her to be brown. That's your punk ass, racist ass problem. That's not hers. Like she's very clearly described as brown in the Hunger Games book. So you made the conscious choice to just like X any and all brown people from this story.
Is that true? She was brown in the book?
Yes. She's described as like having like.
So you're upset someone casted something properly.
Yes. How about that?
Interesting.
How about
I'm
that?
stroking my imaginary beard.
Literally, she did. So that's who my round is for. Amanda, we have a seat for you in the studio. If you would like
always,
to come
please.
and just we will just give you all 3 of these microphones and just let you go off for as long as you need to. So hopefully you'll come in and see us and say hey. And in the meantime, enjoy the shot of Kool-Aid because you're 16. She can't have like a real shot
Enjoyed mango juice.
or mango juice. Yay! Credits!
This brings us to the end of our show. We are so grateful for Audie Cornish to bless us
I can't believe
with her words and wisdom.
it was so good.
Like literally everything she said was like,
right.
please write this into
yes.
like a treatise.
Yes. Thank you so much for just changing our lives.
As usual, we want to give a shout out to the Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
This is why I don't make the sound effects. I was so sad.
It's kind of sad a little bit.
Sounds like a turtle was dying in my throat. Anyways,
Shout out to our fearless and flawless producers, Jenna Weiss Berman, Eleanor Kagan, and Julia Furlan. Thank you for making the show what it is. We are nothing without you. Thank you to our amazing musicians who created custom music for the show. That is Jean Grey, who Audie said earlier, I don't think we got it on tape, but she loves Jean Grey.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
love to do a thing with you. So
yes.
thank you to Jean Grey. You can follow her at Jean Greasy on Twitter. Also, thank you to Don Will of the Almighty Tanya Morgan. You can follow him at DONWILL. Fantastic music both ways. Thank you to Paul West, who is back. And he's clucking like a chicken. All right. Don't know why that's happening, but thank you for doing it. Thank you to Heben.
Shout out to you, Tracy.
Yay,
I love how every interview we're like, we can't do it.
we had a meltdown earlier. We were like, so nervous. I can't talk to Audie. I can't talk to her in the face again.
And then every time we finish, we're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah. We did it. We kicked all the ass.
Oh, shout out to us for being great.
Yeah. So speaking of the whole Stacey Marie and Audie Cornish thing of like really championing your achievements, we should do that a lot more often.
Yeah.
Everybody listening, every woman listening should do it more often. We should do a thing together right now. Every woman who is listening, on the count of 3, like just throw your head back and shout something amazing about yourself. I'm gonna do it too. You should do it as well, Heben. You look very panicked. Don't
shit.
All right, we're gonna do it. We ready? Also, Eleanor, you too. Paul, you can play if you want to, but it's not for you. But you can play. All right. 1, 2, 3. I look really great in my flight.
I didn't realize we were actually yelling it.
Now you have to shout it.
I look great.
Ah, that was beautiful. All right, don't we feel better now?
I feel weird. I am very proud of us, though.
I am too.
We're not the most amazing interviewers, but we're
Right.
like almost there.
We're getting close.
We're
at least try
learning
very
in public,
hard.
and that's hard.
That shit is hard.
But
I
I'm,
have a
like,
fear
proud of us
looking
for
like I
growing.
don't know what I'm doing in public,
Right.
which is why I'm so scared of like going new places by myself. This is getting into a whole nother part
Yes.
of me and my psyche. Anyway, you are right.
So shout out to us for growing in public.
Woo.
And shout out to you. I hope you yelled something.
I hope you did too.
I didn't, but you know.
Right. Yell it. Do it.
And yeah, drink some water, yell.
Yeah. Perhaps consider a vitamin supplement.
Whoa. Okay.
A multivitamin, maybe. I don't know.
Sure. Some
Could be something.
legumes.
Calcium is important. Get them bones together.
And thanks for listening, y'all.
Bye.
Let's get to it.
Let's get going.
Let's get going.